Yo, what's up, everybody? This is D from Brooklyn, just chilling on a snow day. Thought I would throw myself out there, do a little live chat because I can do that. I know if you guys are like me, you've either killed yourself out there shoveling or you're contemplating killing yourself out there shoveling. So don't do that. Take care of yourself. Try not to hurt yourself out there because it's easy to get caught up out there shoveling and we don't want to hurt ourselves. So, thank you for tuning in on this most unexpected live stream. Um, uh, like I said, I just want to talk with you guys, take a break from the ordinary, talk about tanks, freshwater, saltwater, planted tanks, projects that are going on, and see what you guys are up to. Because I always look forward to seeing tanks. And sometimes we get tired of seeing our own tanks, so I like to see other people's tanks and just talk, see what's going on, chew the fat. So, what's up, everybody? I see a few people are in the room. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Shout out to Dave Wilson. Hey, Jason, we were talking about projects. Oh, what a project day. This is a day that you want to just chill inside, get some of those projects done, actually. I got so many things going on that I get a little bit overwhelmed. I'm always accused of stretching myself too thin. Hey, shout out user from Virginia. Funny thing, I was doing the whole house hunters thing and I was actually looking at property in Virginia. You guys get a heck of a lot of bang for your buck. I could get that dream tank if I was actually living in Virginia. New York, I gotta kind of imagine my dream tank and kind of do what we gotta do. Shout out to my brother Ryan, Farm Boy Reef. You know I was burnt out sitting there. I must have shoveled my driveway 3 times. I got like a good 60-foot driveway, so this blizzard or snowstorm or whatever you want to call it is killing me. Um, I got a few of the cameras on. Shout out, there's the upstairs reef tank. A few of you guys were talking about the upstairs reef tank. I got it shining in black and white mode today. I don't know why. I was just playing around with it. And of course, everybody's on the network right now. So I'm shooting it in standard mode. And of course, behind me, you can see the ever so glaring light coming from the planted aquarium. This tank is really, really, really bright. The funny thing is I spent money on so many different types of lights only to have this garage LED be probably the brightest light I've ever used in an aquarium. And I have 2 lights in front of me. I have multiple tanks around the room. I'm going to probably try to kick in my one of my other cameras so that you guys can do a little tour of the fish room. So I'm going to send myself a link, do something a little different. Okay, Dave says he got a project over the weekend. Over this upcoming weekend, or okay, he added the okay, I think I saw your roller filter. You got the roller filter on the 120. I was seriously thinking about getting the roller filter for my 125 that you're looking at here. The only thing is when I built my sump, I did not factor in space for the roller mat because the roller mat stands above the tank about 6 to 8 inches. So I recently redid the sump so that I can pull my protein skimmer in and out. And you know how it is with these projects. Every time you do a project, you create another project. So I don't have the clearance to put the roller mat in the main reef, because if I do that, I have to move all my biological media that I have currently in there. And what I'm using now is filter floss. I don't have any with me. I just actually cleaned my tank yesterday down here. Let me take you guys on a tour here. I'm going to shoot myself a link, so bear with me. Yeah, the thing with having sumps, both in the freshwater and in the saltwater tanks, when you do anything to your sump, especially as far as adding things, it takes up real estate. So the problem with taking up the real estate is if you put something else in, you got to take something else out. And I'm not too sure what I want to take out because I'm not looking to take that whole sump apart. And that sump is in my dining area. I think my wife would kill me. I think I'd kill myself in doing it because it's so much work. But one of the other projects I got going on with the freshwater side is I got the Hydros Control 4 set up. So I'm working on getting several of these tanks networked. That's right. I'm going to network the super cube behind me, which is 50 gallons. The one, two, three, four, five of the tanks I'm going to get networked together with the Hydros 4. So the beautiful thing about that is not only will I be able to add another camera to monitor down here when we go on vacation, or if I'm at work, or if I get a notification, but I'll be able to control them, get the pH. I'll be able to get the all of the parameters from all of those tanks and be able to control them with one controller. So that's going to be awesome. Okay, I'm going to switch views here. Hopefully I can do it without screwing things up. La dee 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 dee. How many times do I not screw things up? I don't know, probably 50. Especially when you're doing it by yourself. So yeah. So Jason's getting an extra high cabinet built on the new tank just for that reason. Well, I got news for you. When I built our kitchen, we demoed the kitchen. I renovated the kitchen. Me and three contractor buddies of mine. I did change my cabinet. I changed the cabinet. I changed the hood. I built everything to match. And you got to realize the equipment that I had when I built that tank isn't the equipment that we have now. I mean, protein skimmers weren't as big. I had hang on the back. I had the Red Sea Prism. I had two Red Sea Prism hang on the back protein skimmers, and I did not count on them being how they are now. So things have changed a lot. I didn't have the LEDs that I have on the tank now. I had two 36-inch quad T5s. So I had 8 T5s on top of this tank that you guys are looking at now. The funny thing about that is I'm going to take this off. Funny thing about that is the technology's changed since I built the tank. That tank has changed. I have taken out everything in that tank, put in new, taken out. That tank has been running for about 19 years. Yeah, because my daughter will be 18. That tank's running since before she's born. Maybe I will build another sump. Maybe I won't. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that tank, but I guarantee you one thing. What's up, OG Fish Room? Shout out to OG Fish Room. I'll tell you one thing about that tank. It has stood the test of time. It stood the test of time, and I'm very thankful, thank God, because we talk about seams, silicone, everything about that tank is pretty dang old. So yeah. I'm happy that it is working, let alone that it is doing the way it's doing. So I'm happy about that. Um, Shout out to all of you guys that are running tanks that have been up and running for a few years. With COVID and the way things are now, it takes a lot of energy to run these tanks, and it takes money. And we did a live segment the other night, and it came up the topic of just what it takes to run a YouTube channel. And when I started this YouTube channel, the reason I started it is because when I started my tanks, and I'm running the tanks since before YouTube, there was no YouTube when I got in the aquarium hobby. And I'm a librarian, not a like a real librarian, but I'm a guy that keeps books. So I thought it was the best idea to like share information, people from the club, especially when I did this tank. I started doing shrimp. I kept shrimp in this tank, which I never did before. And how could I do that without all the help from my brothers and sisters on YouTube? I definitely got some help from boy Dan Pulio, one of our club members, with the plants. You can see the plants are going nuts since I added that 6500K. You can't even see the fixture. That's how bright it is. Plants are going. Okay, now Mark, don't put the whammy on me. Mark's saying that the silicone lasts 30 years. I hope it lasts 50 years because if it lasts 30 years, I got about 10 good years left. Oh, actually, I'm going to tell you a little secret, and I'm really putting a whammy on me. I've been in this house 19 years. I had that tank since before my son was born. My son's going to be 24. That tank's been, it was originally keeping my Oscars, so it's actually much older than 20 years. That tank may be coming on 30 years. So the time will come when I'll have to take it down. And it is what it is. When I have to get to that road, hopefully it'll bear in there with me and I'll be able to manage. But I am going to switch to my other view here, only because I'm, hold on, let me mute that one. Okay, let me mute myself. All right, now you get a little bit of an echo. Okay, it should be good now. Everybody can hear me. Hopefully we're good now. Bear with me. I'm a one-man army, but the reason I wanted to do that is I'm going to switch this feed. I'm going to remove that and switch the feed to this one because I can take you guys on a tour. This one. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. I'm multitasking, so I may just screw up. But let me know if you're getting a crazy echo. Hopefully you're not, because I'm trying to do two things at once. One of these I'll mute. I'll leave that on. All right, but anyway, this one is the only one. So basically, this is a Via Aqua overflow pump, a return pump rather. I have a 75-watt titanium heater. Okay, great. Thanks, Dave. It's hard to do two things at once. Usually we have a team with the Reefing Collective, so it's hard to do everything. But anybody can do this. The reason I built this one is because I wanted to debate the theory that you need so much complex equipment in order to run a reef. And this tank started out as SPS. It's a 20-gallon. As you can see, everything is built in. I have a Tunzi auto top off, titanium heater, basically filter floss. I have a Reef Octopus nano skimmer, which currently I just lost the pump on yesterday. So I have to order a new pump for that. So I've run this tank without a protein skimmer, so it's no big deal. Used to be SPS. This was all Pavona. As you can see, mushrooms are completely growing over the Pavona. The Pavona grew over the chalices. The chalices grew over the acros. so this tank is just a constant evolution. This used to be all waving hand zinnia. I took it out because it was going nuts. I move the waving hand Xenia to the little cube, the aqua, what is it? Aqua Springs 11. This is an 11-gallon cube. This is just run by one Aqua Clear. The Aqua Clear is one of my favorite filters, as you can see here. And once again, a project just to prove that anybody can run a saltwater tank. It's all about the science. It's all about doing your homework before you jump in. Um, Not overexerting yourself trying to do something that you can't handle. Um, Algae was growing in this tank for a while. Matter of fact, I meant to turn these whites down. This is a regular eBay LED unit. Um, as you can see, simple things. I must be the king of mushrooms because I started with these mushrooms 15 years ago. They used to be all green. I actually messed around with them with a razor blade, cut them up a few times, and I ended up with some kind of hybrids. Like if you look real close, these, if I can get a good focus there, are really purple and green. I have a bunch of these here, which maybe you can get a better focus there. As you can see, each one of these is probably the size of my hand. You look at my hand. So I'm constantly giving these to new hobbyists and just helping people get into the hobbies by keeping easy to keep corals. Mushrooms, I have a lot of different varieties of Xenia. Maybe you can see that there. I'm trying to look here at the same time. Zoas. Um, I took the SPS out of this tank only because I really didn't care for growing OPS in there. And I like the movement. I was going to breed these pairs, but my male clown died about 2 months ago. When I added the snowflake in there, they used to fight every day. Every day there was a fight. Um, then all of a sudden, the male that I had died. I don't know what happened, but then I was able to add this one back in there, and they've been getting along ever since. So easy to keep tank, saltwater. Let's flip around to the super cube here. I'm walking around with the headset, so okay. So the super cube is 30 inches high, 24 by 24 by 24. It's really about 45, 50 gallons. Um, oh, actually, you can see the light now. This is an LED garage light. I'm gonna probably start keeping this really soon on probably an Amazon affiliate page because as you can see, I have grown everything in this tank under that light. And when I say grow everything, yeah, I'm growing everything. Here is bamboo. That bamboo is literally 30 inches high and it's coming out the top of the tank. I'm growing mint from my backyard. And if I'm getting too much echo, let me know, guys, because it's kind of hard to multitask. But oh, you got a black storm clownfish? Oh man, that was awesome. I was gonna get a black storm, but it's hard to add clowns when you have an existing pair or set of clowns, unless you have them in a big system. So if you have that black storm, I hope you're adding two or three of them at the same time, or put it in a big enough tank so that doesn't become like a territorial type thing. What else do I have in this tank? Not Pavona, Pothos. This Pothos um, is huge. And I'm telling you, when I say huge, I'm going to show you what it's growing out. This is my hand. This is the leaf of the Pothos. It's bigger than my hand. And it's growing up out the top of the tank, along the side, and it's going to go into my killifish tank. So these are all the fish that I've raised and bred outside. All of these are my babies, except for this one fluorescent Daniel. Um, All of these were actually bred. Even this guppy, very interesting story about this guppy. I was holding a male guppy for somebody. I just decided to buy a male guppy. I mean, not a male, a female that I was going to give to a fellow club member. And long story short, the female died. I had him in here for about 2 weeks. The fish died. Before I even knew what was going on, this little guy was a fry swimming in the top of this tank. So I guess he was born in here, and just life finds a way. So it is what it is. You can see I have mint growing. That is real edible mint growing out of the tank. You can see that there. Hopefully, I'm going to take a piece of this actually because I love mint. Uh, yeah, this is good stuff. Delicious. No fertilizers, no additives, no preservatives. So this is all running for about a year now. All my white clouds from outside, all the Daniels, long-fin leopards that I bred out in the pond. I have pseudomugals here. I have neon blue gobies. It's hard to see them now because I have the killie tank here. Shout out to my boy Victor Hung. I have and he insists that I use the scientific name, Aphosidamin bivitatum. Okay, I hope I said that right, Victor. Aphosimian bivitatum. So they're in there, hard to see right now, but usually my male is always where I can see him, except when I'm looking for him, of course. Um, this tank is running at 6.5 pH. This is why I have this little separate tank sitting here. I didn't intend on having another tank, but that's the luck of the draw. I don't see that they're deep in there and all that grass, probably because oh, there it is. Maybe it can get a, nah, I'm not going to get a good shot. But anyway, that is my killifish tank. And while we're still here, maybe I could get those the super cube is for my super hard to find nanofish, like this bumblebee goby, which is one of my favorite fish. I have 3 of those bumblebee gobies. They are absolutely splendid. I mean, he will sit and come right to me like he just did. This is the tank I'm growing a lot. I have Nerochema Caridina shrimp in here. I have cherry reds. I have Japanese algae shrimp. Hopefully, now that when I'm looking for them, I can find you one. They're usually in this little spot here, but of course, I won't see it now. This is my specialty nanofish tank. I got that idea from Rachel O'Leary. She's spoken at the Brooklyn Aquarium Society several times, and I just love the nano species because you can keep so many hard to find species together in a tank that's big enough with enough cover. And that's what I've been doing. So let me see if you guys have any questions. Battle, what's up? Of course I might have my own channel, Battle. I hope you click that thumbs up because I'm working like a slave there. I hold 2 cameras. Mermaids Reef, dang, that's huge. Yeah. And these are the nano species. As you can see, I have some very large rock, and that grows 30 inches. Well, not grows because rock doesn't grow. It extends about 3/4 of the way. Oh, there's one of my Japanese shrimp. Hopefully you can see him. He's orange, beautiful shrimp. I know it's hard to focus. And that's one of the beautiful things about this tank, the freshwater tank. Nano species, no matter where you look, you see something different. You're not worried about the territorial nature of some of these fish. Um, I have guppy grass. I have a lot of Java fern here. I have some crypticorna. I think it's Wendiddy. I'm not sure. I always forget the absolute names of some of the species. This is a house plant that was just dying because I kept forgetting to water it. So I made an aquatic plant. It's cut, it's rooted down, and I glued it. Hopefully, I'm trying to move around here. Hold on, y'all. I got to do a little somersault. But anyway, I glued it to the back end of that rock so that it stays out of the water, and it completely rooted up. So you can convert some of your house plants to subtropical plants. Like they can be rooted in water but grow out. And they do a majority of the filtration for this tank. I definitely equate the success of keeping the shrimp to the number of plants I have in here because I have so many babies. You can see all the snails. I have some ram's horn snails. I have a few assassin snails in here somewhere. Um, Yeah, but it provides so much cover for the shrimp that I don't worry about the fish eating them. And yeah, that is the super cute. So I'm gonna try to flip around here. Hopefully, I have enough battery power here in this phone. I'm gonna flip around here to the 5.5 gallon where I keep my super nano gouramis, little baby chocolate gouramis, and a pair of guppies. And that's how you end up with miscellaneous guppies because I get two big giant females here I was going to give and I ended up keeping them. But I'm trying to breed these gouramis here and I have not had luck yet. But that's a 5.5 gallon project. And this is run off a matin filter, just a piece of matin filter and air stone. I'll show you. This is in my window with a little cheap Chinese LED light, but since they're in the window, I really don't need the light because these get natural sunlight. Ooh, here's a close shot of one of the killifish. I'm trying not to spook them. These are really beautiful fish. Geez, I forgot the name of these. I have it written down. Hold on a second here. I'll try to get you a good shot. These tanks are not heated. As you can see, they're in the sub 60-degree temps. And these guys are doing good. They're doing pretty good. This tank is also running at a pH of 6.5, low pH for these guys. Trying to get the name. These are Fundula Penchaks, Gardneri. There you go. I knew I would get that label maker come in handy. These guys are not camera shy, but really beautiful fish. And pretty easy to keep. I have a ton of plants in here. I'm hoping that I end up with little babies in there. I did see eggs in here one time, but of course, with all of this, there's no way I can take the eggs out without taking the whole tank apart. And let's spin around to my beta tank here. I just lost my female the other day. This tank is heated. What's the temperature? You can see it's a little low here, actually. It's right under about 74. But I was trying to breed these guys. And first, my female killed one of my males that I had. So I moved this male from another tank. And then my female died. So not easy being green, is it? You guys have any questions? D, what's up, Rocko's fish room? I got to take a look at your fish room because I'm always trying to get ideas from everybody. But as you can see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tanks, and each one is completely different in what's being kept, as well as how it's set up. So I'm going to take a walk and I'm going to take you to the rainforest tank. Take a tour of my messy basement. This is one of my older running tanks. This is the rainforest aquarium. If you look on my channel, you'll see that this is one of my older running tanks. This has been running for at least 10 years. Always with the Java moss, with my one of my favorite branches. I got this branch, true story. My wife and I were walking through botanical gardens, and as we were leaving, there were a whole bunch of trees that had dropped limbs from a storm, similar to the storm we're having today. And I picked it up, cleaned it off, and that has been in this tank for about 10 or 11 years now. So this is one of my favorite tanks. These are also my fry. These are not even 4 months old. Were they 4 months? Yeah, 4 months old. These were born in the container pond outside. Of course, I got more white clouds. I did lose one of my discus that I just picked up. Discus are really hard to feed when you got this many greedy Brooklyn fish. That's right, you guys are greedy Brooklyn fish. Um, yeah, so all of these babies are mine. I raised them from fry. The parents were outside. One of the parents I have in another tank. The other parent, I did lose the pair. I left them out there until December, and they didn't do too well. But this is going to be the next generation. And this is mostly all tetras because I'm really fond of tetras. My flagfish, my Florida flagfish, which is also in the killifish family. Hopefully you can get a good shot of that. Congo tetra. This is like 4 varieties of tetra. The black skirt, albino white, Congo tetra, and there's a really small pair of nano in there somewhere. I don't see them now, but Florida flagfish. And if you guys remember the DIY aquarium plant pot, this is one of them that I brought inside. This is the Amazon sword. I've had this 2 years now. And I didn't show you my other one. I'll go back to the cube and show you the other one. But as you can see, you take a plastic bottle, cut it, add your substrate. You can make it as big or small as you want. But I use that because it's awesome for adding root tabs or anything that you want to fertilize in the tank directly to that plant. And that is a 20 extra high, also running the Aqua Clear. Aqua Clear, I believe this is Aqua Clear 30, if I'm not mistaken. The cube has Aqua Clear 20, and this is running an Eheim, which I just added because I had the discus in there. I really didn't need the Eheim. This Aqua Clear has been running this tank since I had this tank, so that is at least 11 to 12 years. And you can see it's super clear. There's the stand that you guys remember. I built 2 stands, one for the club. Let me take this dead leaf out of here. I did a lot of pruning yesterday. I built one stand for the club that I gave away for auction. This one I built for me just because I wanted a tank that was tall enough to house the 10-gallon and have space underneath for lighting, and house the 20 extra high, as you can see. So you can see my little first time engraving in wood with my Dremel tool. And this is another tank. This is the 10-gallon breeder tank. As you can see, there's my female beta in timeout here. And I have pseudomugals in here and blue-eyed rainbows, some threadfin rainbows. Hard to see them, but once again, hard to find fish. And when you find them, you really want to keep them kind of dedicated in a space to themselves and try to breed them out because they are hard to acquire fish. This is run by an old simple internal filter and a filter box. And let's see, I just had to change the heater, so now this is at 78 degrees. The heater just broke in this tank last week and I had to change it out. So this is all pothos. Once again, pothos. If you want to breed fish, the first thing I add in the tank is pothos because it is absolutely exemplary at filtering your water. And you just strip it out. Old leaves go in the garbage. You can see I took all of this out today from this tank because it grows so fast. As it grows, very important to keep it trimmed if you want to keep it healthy. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys here because I'm holding the camera and I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm switching back here. I can rant about tanks for days, but I absolutely had to show that because not only freshwater, but saltwater is all about the science. I'm going to drop this here. I'm going to bring that one back. And hopefully you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, give me a shout. Let me know you can hear me. Okay, your pothos don't do good in the tank. Very interesting. Can you guys hear me? Hopefully you can. I think I can hear myself. Okay. But it's very strange. There's two reasons why pothos. Okay, good. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. There's two reasons why pothos won't do good in a tank. Um, the first reason is if you do not have a clean cut. When you add pothos to a tank, it's very important that you have a clean cut, because if you don't have a clean cut, it won't root up well. And when I say clean cut, I'm going to bring this up front. You want to cut pothos so that you have the stem. You want to cut it in front of a leaf or after a leaf. So if it's growing outward, you want to cut it after the leaf, and this whole piece will become a whole new plant. So what you do is cut it, let that heal itself, stick this end into the water, and it will grow another root from the base. You'll see it. If you're having a problem with pothos, and I've kept pothos many years now, my mom, God bless her heart, when she was alive, my mother used to call pothos a nuclear plant. She used to say it would survive a nuclear holocaust, and I believe it will. Um, okay, yeah, nice angle cut. Yeah, you have to have a good angle cut. I use a razor blade. I don't really like using scissors, and I'm gonna tell you why. When you use scissors, unless they're very, very sharp, what you tend to do is pinch it. And when you say pinch it, let's say we're using this wire. Hopefully you can see this. Let me get a wire here for an example. This is the wire. If you pinch it, what it does is it crushes the inside of that plant, which is what you need to extend a new root. So you really want to use a razor blade or something very sharp. If you're using scissors, get a very sharp pair of scissors and cut it quickly. Cut it quickly and try not to pinch that stem. The razor blade, yes, Rocko, the razor blade is absolutely best because you won't damage the stem like you will with scissors. And I found that out because sometimes you can cut plants, not only pothos, but with mint. I took the mint and I cut it with a razor. And mint, as long as it's not submerged in water, if it's emerged, which means it's in the water but allowed to stick out of the water, not completely submerged in water, it'll root up. So you can grow mint in an aquarium. I know that now. The proof is in the pudding. You can grow, what else did I grow in here? I don't know the name of that plant. It escapes me, and I have the other one in the window dying. But um, you can grow almost any plant in an aquarium if you know what the plant needs. I'm going to move this around a little bit because that light is blaring. I don't want to blind you guys. The secret to growing plants is like the secret to growing coral. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I don't you know what I fertilize this tank? When I feel like it. I don't even know. I have one bottle that I spray in there maybe once in a month, and that's it. I don't have no idea. Like, I don't test that water other than the temperature. There's no heater in there. A majority of these tanks have no heater. They're at my basement temperature. This is the man cave. This is the basement. Know what the plant or coral needs, and you'll be able to raise it. It's not about dosing. It's not about the equipment. It's not about any crazy conglomerate of stuff. It's about knowing what the plant needs. And yes, I killed a few plants because, first of all, I submerged them thinking that they would grow up and out of the water. No, that's like throwing a kid in the water and hoping that he learns how to swim. If that kid don't swim, he's dead. So the trick is with coral, the same thing. If you have SPS, I had, look at my older videos when I built this tank. If I had a picture, I would share it. I don't want to go on too long here. The KISS method. That's right, Rocko. The KISS method. Keep it simple. And like Stefan says, Stefan keeps the pothos in the sump. Said you keep that pothos in a sump for the flower horn tank. Let me tell you, that's the one plant the flower horns won't chew, but so much they'll pull it around. Once it gets rooted, you can plant the stem in a pot in the tank as long as it's long enough to reach out of the tank, and it will send out so many roots into that tank, your flower horn will eventually ignore it. I used to grow pothos in a tank with Oscars. But as far as the same application with coral, I grew so many coral in such a small space. That nano tank is so small that it became impossible to keep them trimmed. It was like one would overgrow the other, then this one would kill that one would overgrow this one, until I had no idea what I was going to be keeping in that tank. I had no idea what was in the tank because they just completely outgrew each other, and that was it. Once they outgrow each other, one is going to die and one is going to live, and you pick the ones you want. I like the soft coral, so I basically took a whole bunch of Pusillipora that I had in here. I have the Favia. Which one outgrew which? The Pavona. Oh man, Favia and Pavona are some of the super easiest, fast coral that you can grow. If you want to get into SPS and you want to do something easy, that will decorate your rock. It makes your rock look absolutely beautiful. Holy cow, these bang bang energy drinks are on point. I'll be up all night. Okay, Rocko, if you got those energy drink, you got the energy drink energy boost, come over here. You can shovel my driveway because my driveway is an absolute nightmare. I shoveled it twice and I got such a pain in my neck. I'm like, I'm getting a little bit too old to do that shoveling like a young boy. Yeah, SPS, same thing with soft coral. You can see how many mushrooms I have in a tank. I have upwards of 60, 70 easy. I've sent mushrooms to Massachusetts. I'm horrible at shipping coral. Please don't ask me. Shout out to my boy Mike from Mass. Helped him start his first saltwater tank. I nagged him and nagged him and nagged him and nagged him until he started a saltwater tank a few years ago. Same method. Keep corals that are easy to keep until you get a hang of what you're doing. When you get the ability to maintain your levels in a tank, then you can go to harder to keep corals. One of the biggest problems that people have with trying to get into the saltwater hobby is they try to keep corals that they just have no experience keeping, and they end up killing them. Start off with something easy. Start off with mushrooms, of course, are easy. I wouldn't recommend Xenia. Xenia are easy to keep, but once they really start growing, they can become overbearing and take over a tank. I'll show you the tank upstairs. I have it in black and white mode, but you can see up here, if you can see the arrow in the upper left, I have acros that I've had for 100 years. The acro actually died off, and all these little tiny palizoas grew around it like a whole lawn of grass. Singularia, you can see soft leather coral in the middle. Singularia, one of my favorite corals, only because it grows like a weeping willow, and you can cut it. You can see cabbage leathers up here. I don't know why I have this in black and white mode. Let me see if I can screw around with it real quick. Let me move this around a little bit here. You can see my flipper here. Okay, and this is in the dining area. So this is why I have you guys on remote. About 100 purple mushrooms. I'm sorry this thing is not in color today. Any other time this camera would be in color. Go figure. Rule of averages. What can go wrong always goes wrong. But anyway, those are my striped hoodlums, my 3 striped damsels. One of my damsels was literally 19 years old. I just lost him about 6 months back. That was Shorty. Broke my heart. These fish are pretty old. I have the yellow tang, which somebody told me I should sell them because they're not shipping yellow tangs from Hawaii anymore. And that yellow tang is about 8 years old. What's up? My boy Battle is in here. Battle. I got to see your tank. Battle is a nice tank. A lot of you guys have excellent tanks. Paul says he started with Zoas. Zoas are really, really good. Okay, Battle, you lost your connection. Okay, thank you. I'm glad you're back. Rocko says he never kept saltwater. Okay. Once again, it's not about investing the money as much as it is investing your time and studying. I put a lot of time. If you guys spoke to my wife, you could ask her how many books I have. I have books that I've had 30 years, literally books that sorry, New York Public Library, I paid for them. I kept them. Books that I've had longer than many people have been in the hobby, and only because every now and then I'll go back to the books, and usually I have one sitting there. I always have a book next to me. What's this here? I always have a book next to me. Of course, now I don't have one, but anyway, books are never a bad investment, especially the really good how-to books. I keep them as a reference all the time. 19 years old. Yeah, that's right. That tank is really old, and some of those fish, those striped damsels, 2 of them are a rescue from a guy that I guess had a 55-gallon tank, and they were killing everything in there because striped damsels get very big, as you can see. Shorty is very big. Shorty, I had really sad. I had Shorty almost 20 years. I had that. That was one of my first saltwater fish. Really sad losing him. But the other 2 are Larry, Daryl, and Daryl. If you guys are old, you know who they are. They used to be on the Bob Newhart show because Larry's the boss, and there's Daryl and his other brother Daryl, because you can't tell them apart. They were a rescue. They're a rescue from someone that started a tank, didn't really know. They bought damsels to cycle the tank and ended up with the meanest pair of damsels that they could have on their hands, and they couldn't get any other fish in the tank. So I don't cycle my tank with damsels. Yeah, Battle's going for the upgrade. Once again, planning. The sump, I don't know what you're building, but a lot of energy goes into the sump. And for those of you that aren't into the saltwater, the sump is another tank. It's just another tank. It could be if you got a 55-gallon tank, it could be a 20-gallon tank. It could be a 10-gallon tank. I had my first sump was actually a 10-gallon tank that no, actually, my first sump was a 5-gallon tank that sat behind a 20-gallon tank. And I just had an overflow running into that tank, a U-tube, an overflow tube that ran into that tank and ran back in and then I had a return pump pumping the water back into my tank, and that was it. And that's how I ran that tank for about 2 years till I got tired of it. I have some older videos. If you check out my YouTube channel, D from Brooklyn, you'll see that I have YouTube videos dating back 6 years, 7 years. I had a saltwater tank that was 5 gallons. It was 5 gallons. I had two. What I had two? No, I had one firefish and a pair of clownfish, which in a 5-gallon tank is stretching it. But I had coral in there. Some of the coral I have, I think I had a mushroom, not a mushroom. I had a leather coral, and I think I had one Xenia. And I kept that tank running for about a year, or maybe a little less than a year, because my firefish jumped out and really pissed me off. That pissed me off. So the clowns, I ended up moving, and I ended up getting another pair of clowns, and it just went on from there. So do I recommend getting a tank that small? No. It can be done. Anything can be done if you put the time and the energy into doing it the right way. So let me see here. Planning. That's right. Facebook user says planning, keep them from starting a 40-gallon, keeping me from starting a 40-gallon angel tank. Well, if I showed you here that my next project is going to be, let me see if I can switch this around here. My next project is going to be a native fish,
saltwater tank,
probably saltwater tank,
and I'm going
to build
everything
everything
into the tank.
into the tank.
An old
A old
skimmer that
skimmer
I
that I
got.
got.
I got
I got a
heater
heater
there.
there.
The
The
hydros
hydros
is
is
going
going
to
to
be
be connected, but
This
this
is
is
going
going
to
to
be
be native species, killifish or saltwater species that are collected locally. So
so
I'm
I'm
applying
applying
for
for a
a collector's
collector's
license.
license.
You
You
can't,
can't
I don't want to
unlimited
just
just
go
go
out
out
and
and
scoop
scoop
fish
fish
up.
up.
You
You
know,
don't
you
need
can
to
do
do
that.
that.
I'm
I'm
going
going
to
to
collect
collect
local native
native
saltwater
saltwater
species
species
to
to
the
the
New
New
York
York
area,
area,
and I'm
I'm
going
going
to
to
keep
keep
them and
them and
study them.
study them.
I'm
I'm
going to
going to
keep
keep
notes
notes and
document
document
the
the
whole
whole
thing,
thing.
and
And
I'll take you guys along for the ride. So that's going to be an upcoming project. And one of the reasons I haven't started it is because, COVID-19, everything's quarantine. I have to sit here. I can't go where I want to go to get the material that I want to get. So it's going to be tricky, but it'll get done. And once again, when it gets done, it may take time. I'm debating what I want to put in the all enclosed filtration area. I'm going to have the filtration all in the tank, nothing going out of the tank, no sump like the 20-gallon and like the Aqua Springs. None of those two tanks have a sump. They're all run, all inclusive. No high tech other than the control 4 that's monitoring the pH. Um, Actually, thanks to the control 4, I didn't realize that my heater was going on the fritz until I started getting alarms. And thank God for the alarms, because I would have never knew that my heater had broke until I saw the temperature dropping. So shout out to Coral View for making a good product. That was really, really a lifesaver. If it wasn't for that, I would have probably lost some fish. And that was in the 20-gallon nano. So I'm really attached to my pair of clowns and my bicolor in there, my bicolor blend in there. Yeah, planning, man. When building a sump, let me see. When building a sump, how would you decide the right size tank to use? Um, Very good question. First and foremost, take your tank. If your main tank is 40, I want a 20 in there. I like to have half the volume of the main tank, half the volume, or at least a third of the volume for a sump. Whatever I can fit underneath that tank, I want to make sure that it has enough water space in the sump to capture all the overflow from the main tank without flooding the room. That's how I determine the size of a sump. So my tank upstairs, the sump I have on the 125 is actually only a 30 gallon. I think it's a 30 gallon. And that's basically only reason I have that 30 gallon is because I wanted a tank that was a little wide and I couldn't fit the 40 breeder didn't fit in there. So either I had to, my original tank was built by me. I had a one of my aquarium store owners. He used to own Thousand Island Aquarium. The original owner, years and years ago, showed me how to build a sump, and that was one of the heaviest sumps I ever built. And over the years, as equipment changed, I couldn't fit the equipment that I wanted. Actually, this protein skimmer that I have here, that I just showed you guys, is a throwback that I had in that tank. So it's really old. Um, so you want to have a sump that's big enough to hold all your equipment. Of course, you want to be able to hold half the volume of your tank if you can fit it. So if you have a 90-gallon tank and you can get a 40 breeder under it, awesome. I would prefer to have a 40 breeder only because the more space you have under the tank, you can add whatever equipment, heater, everything into the sump, and you don't go clobbering up your main display with all the equipment. But here's the downside to this. My heater is in my main tank, and I'll tell you why. I had a power failure one time, and the heater wasn't in the sump. I mean, the heater wasn't in the main tank, and I had to run a car battery and an inverter to run that tank. I had a battery operated pump, and that would not work unless the heater was in the main tank. So since that day, I could have ran the return pump and did all of that, but I didn't run a return pump. All I ran was a battery operated air pump and that heater, and that tank went through Hurricane Sandy. The same tank you saw upstairs went through Hurricane Sandy for a week with no power, and I didn't lose anything. I didn't lose any fish. I didn't lose any coral. So planning, planning, planning. When you have the sump, also plan for backup just in case something goes wrong. Shout out Bed-Stuy Reefer in the house, representing Bed-Stuy. Um, yeah, shout out to you. Paul, yeah, let me tell you, Marvel for life, things go wrong. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Battle's talking about WandaVision. Oh, you sound like my wife. My wife's talking about WandaVision. I don't particularly care for WandaVision. I'm more of a Star Wars, Clone Wars guy. I like action. I like a beginning and an end to a story. I don't like to look for clues and all. I like to watch a story from the beginning and see a story at the end. And the end of the episode, I'm happy. But just like my tanks, I like it simple. Um, yo, when you set up a tank, keep it simple. I bought Thousand Island slanted 55-gallon tanks before he closed. Yeah, he was a really good guy, man. He was definitely a good guy. He definitely supported the Brooklyn Aquarium Society. And what the heck was his name? Jesus Christ, I feel bad now. It wasn't Dan? I can't think of his name, but he's gonna kill me if he's out there because I spoke to him every week. Thousand Island Aquarium. Yeah, but anyway, the original owner owns Blue Reef on Flatbush Avenue. Blue Reef, magnificent saltwater aquarium store. I don't recommend every saltwater aquarium store. They are good. I know the mom who manages that. I've known her at least 20 something years, more than 20 years. Her kids that now run the store were babies. They were babies. Now they're all grown adults. They have families of their own. Yeah, I don't get this gray for nothing. I'd known those kids since they were running around the store changing water and stuff. And they run a top-notch store. Blue Reef on Flatbush Avenue. So shot them out. They're on Instagram. Um, they also still build tanks. If you're looking for a custom tank, check them out. Very knowledgeable. They're not maintaining tanks now. They usually maintain tanks, but since COVID, we can't do the maintenance thing anymore. But they do build custom tanks. They'll build a tank for you, whatever size you want. If you got a specific design, they build freshwater tanks, saltwater tanks. Um, I had a wall mounted tank, which I actually broke in my backyard. I didn't never get the mounted on the wall, stupid. Um, I don't know if Stefan's talking about the frags and Blue Reef, but yes, they do have very good selection of coral. Although I'm mad. I'm not gonna shout him out, but I'm mad at my boy there because he had a certain very hard to find chalice that I was trying to get him to give me a piece of, and he would not give me a piece of it because he was trying to grow it out himself. And I could have grew that piece out about a zillion times now. So yeah, he stuck me really good. But yeah, shout out to my people at the Blue Reef Aquarium. And that's another tip. It's not about spending a whole lot of money. As you can see, I got a 20-gallon tank with no sump. I didn't even run a protein skimmer when I had the chalices and everything in there. I just added the Reef Octopus Nano skimmer because I found the skimmer small enough to fit in there. But if you got a 20-gallon nano tank or one of those all-in-one cubes, um, change your water. Same thing you're going to do with the protein skimmer. You can do a water change. And in a 20-gallon tank, five bucket a 5 gallon bucket of water is a water change. Get 2 5 gallon buckets of water, and guess what? You just did a 50% water change. So change your water, and you're doing the same thing that the protein skimmer is doing, and you're removing nutrients, and you're keeping those fish happy and healthy. Now, the funny thing is, I really don't see people ask as many questions about freshwater tanks as they do with saltwater. But I struggled with keeping shrimp. This is the first time that I've been able to not only keep shrimp, and of course, now the Carabina, I have a red and white shrimp that decided to come out now. Of course, they come out now when I'm not filming the tank. But I couldn't keep shrimp in that tank, but yet I've kept coral banded shrimp, scarlet cleaner shrimp. Um, I've kept three different types of saltwater shrimp for over 4 or 5 years, but I couldn't keep shrimp in a freshwater tank. So yeah, it is what it is, man. Um, who is that? I see a question there. D, there was a fish store on, let me see, there was a fish store on Ocean Avenue. Forgot the name. That was, oh, Jesus. World Class. World Class. Oh, no, on Ocean Avenue? I don't know if you mean Ocean Avenue or Flatbush Avenue. I know I grew up on Ocean Avenue. I don't remember a fish store on Ocean Avenue. Let me think. And I used to ride my bike from one end of Ocean Avenue to the next. I know there was a store on Flatbush Avenue, used to be World Class Aquarium, and they were there for 30 plus years. World Class Aquarium, shout out to Marty. Marty was in charge of, um, he was a manager at World Class Aquarium. Let me see here. There was a store near Newkirk Avenue. There's a store on Coney Island Avenue near Foster, and he's still running. I don't know with COVID whether he's still how they're doing because I haven't got a chance to go by there. But what I've been doing, so that you guys know, tune into the YouTube channel because what I'm doing now is I'm trying to shout out all the local stores. I'm going to all the local stores and support all the local stores by just giving them representation. I'm trying to show you what stores we have in the Brooklyn area, and I'm trying to help those guys stay in business by giving them whatever publicity I can give them because everybody needs help. Everybody needs help sometimes. And the better we support our local stores, the better the quality of fish that they can keep, the better prices that we can get from them. And let's tell the truth, when you have a problem, you can go to a local store with your water sample. They'll test the water for you. They'll give you tips. Um, my people at Brooklyn Zoo, Brooklyn Zoo, shout out to Mike that owns Brooklyn Zoo, another supporter of the Brooklyn Aquarium Society. Brooklyn Zoo, that guy is great at answering questions. These guys have been keeping fish for a long time. They keep healthy fish, freshwater fish. They can also sometimes be able to get. Who said you, Star Wars? You, I dare you, battle. Do not badmouth Star Wars. I'm a child of 19. So, yeah, I saw the first Star Wars in the movie theater when it came out. Yeah, props, shout out for buying local. I tried buying fish online. Mm, I like to see, feel, and touch my fish. I like to know how they're kept. I like to be able to see them eating before I buy them. Um, when I go to Blue Reef, or there's another store that just opened up, Exotic Reef, an aquarium over on Avenue U. I like to see the fish, how they come in. I like to see how the people keep them. I like to see that the store owner is familiar with where the fish came from. Like he can tell me where those fish came from. He can tell me that they're eating. I actually know for a fact that Blue Reef, they treat their fish when they take them out. They treat them in methylene blue. So I like to see that fish get treated. They don't just get taken from the bag and dumped into a tank, which contaminates all the fish in that system. So buying local, very important to me. I do buy things online, so I'll be lying if I said I didn't buy. I just bought my heater online because I could not find this specific brand of heater that I really like, and I'm going to show you. They're not sponsoring me. I paid for this heater. This is made by via Aqua. I've used these heaters for years and years and years. They come with their own thermostat, separate. You don't see it in the picture, but they come with a thermostat that is separate, and it comes with the control, which is separate here. And I like to be able to control the temperature in my tanks because let's say you have a new fish or specific species of whatever fish. I can raise the temperature by 2 degrees if I want, or I can keep the tank at the temperature of my room, which will save you on heaters because your tank's not cutting on and off, on and off. Your room is at 72 degrees, which a lot of people keep their houses cool in Brooklyn, but you're keeping your tank at 79 degrees. That heater is running all the time, all day. I like to keep my tank slightly above the room temperature, which means my tank upstairs, I think, is running at maybe I can pull up the apex here. I think it's running at 75 or 70, yeah, like 75 degrees, because that's what I keep my tank at. So I can pull up the apex here. And I can keep that heater from running 99% of the time. So yeah, if I can show you my Apex tools here. Yes, that's right. I keep an Apex and I have hydros. You can see my readings are not what you would say are regular. My pH is very high, 8.4. My temperature is 77. So yeah, those are my parameters. And fish have been living for years and years and years. So the proof is in the pudding. Let's see what questions we have. I'm gonna probably shut this down very soon because I'm running the stream for it's over an hour now. What's up? Yeah, Battle says you'll take free stuff. Battle, you took forever just to get a hat. So, dude, if I can find anything to send you, Battle, you know what? I do have I do have some t-shirt here from one of the aquarium companies that I dealt with. So maybe I'll shoot that out to Battle because Battle is a religious watcher. So if you want a t-shirt, Battle, just let me know in the comments below. I'll try to hook you up, bro. Let me see here. Battle says, I don't know if I ever want to do YouTube stuff for Aquatic Life. I'd rather listen to y'all, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just have fun going on YouTube because I've met so many great people that over the years I've just would never have met people around the country, around the world. And Battle, you good? Okay, I was gonna hook you up, son. You know, there ain't nothing wrong with the hookup. But yeah, so many people I never would have met. And times like now, COVID, can't share like you want to share. You can't go out and see people like you want to see them. So we're able to talk online and do what we're doing and stay safe. So we're running an hour now. I'm gonna wrap this up. I just thought I'd take you guys on a tour of the fish tanks here. And I actually didn't show the one outside that's covered in a foot of snow. The pond is still got water in it. I still have white clouds out there, and there is this much snow on top of them. So can't wait to see how they do in the springtime. Yeah, Paul says he met some great people over the years. And one lives 3 hours away. And you know what's funny? 3 hours away, and you probably walk past that person every day and never knew that they kept fish. So shout out to you two for giving us the ability to do that. Anybody have any other questions? I'm going to get ready to wrap it up. We kind of chewed the fat here. Freshwater tanks, saltwater tanks, I love them both. I don't love one over the other because every time I think I've learned something, someone teaches me something that I didn't know. So I learn something new and I end up doing something else. So shout out to all the YouTubers out there that go out of their way to make regular content. It is not easy, I'll tell you. Sharing your life with people you don't know. It can be tedious. It can be a lot of work. The only good thing about it is, like I say, you meet people, people keep magnificent tanks. I'm going to say something here, and I hope I spell his name right. If you guys want to check out a YouTuber, I don't talk to him regular, but he has an awesome tank. Shout out Farm Boy Reef, 600 gallon. The Hulk is awesome. The Hulk is a tank that I wish I had the room for. I just don't have the room for a tank that big. And another thing, when you guys are keeping tanks, keep a tank that you can afford to maintain, because a lot of money goes into keeping a tank. Shout out to Ryan Nash, keeping that tank. It is not easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of we do things right, we do things wrong, and you learn while you go. That's not his first big tank. I know Ryan quite a few years now. He's had some really, really nice tanks over the years. So check out Farm Boy Reef Club, not only because he's part of the Reefing Collective, but because I don't recommend people that don't know what they're doing, and Ryan knows what he's doing. But check out O2 Mini Fish. O2 Mini Fish. I put his name in the comments. This dude has an awesome tank on YouTube. Hopefully I didn't spell it wrong. I always spell his YouTube name wrong, but the guy raises coral outside. I've been following his channel for the past couple of years. If I can pull him up, I'll pull him up and share that before I go off the air. But check that out. Oh, too many fish on YouTube. Has magnificent tanks. He just lost the seam in one of his tanks that he had going for a long time. One of these tanks that I thought were super awesome. So yeah, oh too many fish. I'm gonna show one of his videos here so that you guys can shout it out, because anytime I see another user that is worthy of sharing, I always tell you guys, shoot me a shout out in the comments. If you want to share your tank, I'm glad to share the love, because there are some tanks that don't go nowhere near the mention that they should get. And this is taking a while to I'm gonna just blow that off because I don't feel like waiting. But check out Oh Too Many Fish, and great tank. Check them out. I'm gonna wrap it up, y'all. Yes, Stefan, 10-gallon sump. If you got a 20-gallon tank, get a 10-gallon sump. If you got a 20-gallon, is not easy. Don't by any means think that this tank, oh, he's got easy to keep corals easy. Anything that can go wrong real fast in a small tank. So I don't advise people get small tanks. I like to tell people to get at least a 40 breeder, because a 40 breeder is 36 inches long, and you can get a 29 or 20-gallon sump and fit it underneath a 40 breeder. So that's probably the best. But yeah, I hope that guy gets the peace and love. Oh Too Many Fish on YouTube. Check him out. Check out Farm Boy Reef. Check out the Reefing Collective Saturday night at 9 p.m. Check out Brooklyn Aquarium Society on Facebook. Check out basny.org. The Brooklyn Aquarium Society, I'm membership chairperson, so I got a shout out. Hail Hydra. Hail Hydra. Yeah, right. Is that enough shout outs? Did I shout out everybody? Join us on Facebook. Check me out on YouTube. If you got somebody that you want to shout out, go to the Facebook page, D from Brooklyn, Saltwater, Freshwater Aquariums of the World. I love to share new users, young users, kids in the hobby. We got to promote more kids in the hobby, because they're our future. Without the future, we're not going anywhere. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to say love, peace, and hair grease. I'm going to wrap it up. And don't hurt yourselves out there shoveling, because shit, I got a headache. Oop, I said a bad curse word. That'll be it. Check us out Saturday night. Click that thumbs up, because YouTube likes the thumbs up for the algorithm or whatever. If you like videos like this and want to see more just talking and chatting live, let me know. I'll do what I can. But until next time, this is D, and I'm going to leave you with that. So stay safe, people. I'm going to be out.